Howdy out there, everyone. Today we're going to take a look at this new Arrow 4K Blu-ray special edition release of In the Mouth of Madness, a 1994, I want to say, John Carpenter release starring Sam Neill and featuring a really interesting sort of Lovecraftian meets Stephen King meets Clive Barker with a little meta commentary woven in for good measure. It's definitely a sort of movie that eats its own tail, so to speak. And while I won't, it's definitely not The Thing good or even Halloween good. I think this is still, I would put this movie in Carpenter's top 5 along with The Thing, Halloween, Starman, Christine, and this film. And I know that may seem like sacrilege. There's tons of people out there that love Big Trouble and even Escape from New York and They Live. I'm not as big of a fan of those films. I think Assault on Precinct 13 is pretty good, but I would put this in Carpenter's top 5. I think it's a really interesting, great story, fascinating, complicated yet approachable plot, and Sam Neill really anchors the proceedings with his usual Sam Neill-ness. He's a fantastic, sort of journeyman actor who's just been in a ton of things, including Event Horizon, which coincidentally is another cosmic horror film, one of my favorites on my shelf. But as you can see, this is the newly commissioned artwork that's got a very H.P. Lovecraftian vibe going for it. And this is the hard box. And let's go ahead and take a look at what's inside. Of course, you've got the 4K Blu-ray disc. And the 4K, incidentally, the PQ and AQ, I just want to stress, they look really good and sound terrific. There's really no complaint. I will say that the cinematography, it looks a little bit, how should I say, it feels almost like a TV production a little bit, and I suspect that may in fact be a reflection of the budget constraints he probably had, because if you recall, the previous film he did was Memoirs of an Invisible Man, which incidentally I actually enjoy quite a bit. I'm not going to say it's the top 5, but I enjoyed it for what it was. Great special effects, and in fact it was one of his biggest budgeted films ever, and it flopped. I mean, it was just a total flop, and I think that he was probably feeling pretty good that he even had a movie to make after that. Carpenter was apparently so disillusioned with that film and the experience he had with the studio meddling, and then of course dealing with Chevy Chase, that he was practically ready to just give up filmmaking altogether. But he ended up getting this gig, and I think he did a great job. But it does have a somewhat limited, you could feel a little bit of the low budget constraints that I'm sure he dealt with. But I think in some ways that works, because it's sort of a stripped down, mean and lean version of Carpenter, and I think it's definitely a film that has aged well. It's I think probably as timely today as it was when it came out, if not more so, because the premise that you can infect people's minds through a piece of fiction and essentially turn everyone into crazed kind of idiots, you could argue that that's happened today, only it wasn't in a paperback book format. It's the internet and social media. So I think some of the sort of observations and criticisms of society sort of writ large are rather prescient in this film. So, but as you can see, it's just packed full of some really interesting special features, including a terrific video essay and a nice multi-part sort of making of, or at least kind of like an analysis of the film. I really enjoy what Arrow does with their product. I think that they're one of the best boutique Blu-ray labels out there. Now, of course, it comes with this terrific poster that is double-sided, Here you've got the original poster art, which looks great. And then you've got the newly commissioned art that has that whole Lovecraftian vibe going for it. Also really cool. And it features a typical, booklet with essays and still photography from the film that I think is pretty well worth your time as well. So on balance, there's a nice little Lovecraftian critter there. I would definitely put this on your shelf, especially if you're a Carpenter fan, or if you just like Lovecraftian horror, cosmic horror. I think this is definitely worthy of some of the top films made within this genre. So that's it for today. Thank you very much for watching. I appreciate everyone's viewership, and please stay safe out there. Be kind, and by all means, keep watching good. Let's say great cinema. Let's strive for better than just good cinema. And I would argue that this is in fact great cinema. Take care now. Bye-bye.